Victory. Fath. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. Truly, we have granted you a clear victory, so that God may forgive you your past and future sins, and complete his favor to you, and guide you to a straight path, and so that God might bestow on you his mighty help. It was he who sent down tranquility into the hearts of the believers, to add faith to their faith. The forces of the heavens and earth belong to him. He is all-knowing and all-wise. And so that he might admit the believers, men and women, into gardens through which rivers flow, to dwell therein forever, so that he may remove their evils from them. That is, indeed, a supreme triumph in God's eyes. And so that he might punish hypocritical men and women, as well as the polytheists, men and women, who think evil thoughts about God. An evil turn of fortune will fall upon them, for God has become angry with them, and has rejected them, and prepared hell for them. How evil is such a destination! The forces of heavens and earth belong to God. He is almighty and all-wise. We have sent you forth as a witness, and a bearer of good tidings, and a warner, so that you may believe in God and his messenger, and may help him, and honor him, and so that you may glorify God morning and evening. Behold, all who pledge their allegiance to you indeed pledge their allegiance to God. The hand of God is over their hands. Hence, he who breaks his oath breaks it only to his own loss, whereas he who remains true to what he has pledged to God shall have a great reward bestowed upon him by God. Those desert Arabs who remained behind you will say to you, "Our belongings and our families kept us occupied, so ask forgiveness for us." They will say with their tongues what is not in their hearts. Say, "Who then has any power at all to intervene on your behalf with God, if his will is to do you harm, or if he intends to do you good? Indeed, God is well aware of all that you do. No, you thought that the messenger and the believers would never return to their families. This prospect seemed pleasing to your hearts, and you conceived evil thoughts, and thus were doomed to perish. For those who deny the truth, who do not believe in God and his messenger, we have prepared a blazing fire. To God belongs the kingdom of the heavens and the earth. He forgives those whom he pleases, and punishes whom he pleases. And God is most forgiving and merciful. When you set off to gather the spoils, those that stayed behind will say, "Let us come with you." They want to change God's word, but tell them, "You shall not follow us. God has declared this beforehand." Then they will say, "You are jealous of us," but how little they understand. Say to the desert Arabs who stayed behind, "You shall be called against a mighty people. Then shall you fight, unless they submit. Then if you prove obedient, God will grant you a good reward. But if you turn your backs as you did before, he will inflict on you a painful punishment. The blind, the lame, and the sick will not be blamed. God will admit anyone who obeys him and his messenger to gardens through which rivers flow. But whoever turns back shall be severely punished by him. God was pleased with the believers when they swore allegiance to you under the tree. He knew what was in their hearts, and so he sent tranquility down to them and rewarded them with a victory near at hand, and with many future gains. God is mighty and wise. God has promised you many future gains, and he has given you these in advance. And he has restrained the hands of men from harming you, so that it may be a sign for the believers, and so that he may guide you to a straight path. And there are yet other gains which are still beyond your grasp, but which God has already encompassed for you, for God has power over all things. If those who deny the truth were to fight you, they would certainly turn their backs. Then they would find neither protector nor helper. Such was the law of God in the past, and you shall find no change in the law of God. It is He who withheld their hands from you, and your hands from them in the valley of Mecca, after giving you victory over them. God sees what you do. It was they who are bent on denying the truth, and who debarred you from the sacred mosque, and who prevented your offering from reaching its place of sacrifice. And had it not been for the believing men and believing women in Mecca, whom you might unwittingly have trampled underfoot, and on whose account you might have unknowingly become guilty, God would have commanded you to fight it out with them, but He ordained it thus, so that He may bring whoever He will into His mercy. If they had been clearly separated, we would have punished those who were bent on denying the truth with a painful punishment. While those who deny the truth made it a prestige issue in their hearts, the bigotry of the days of ignorance, God sent His tranquility down onto His messenger and believers, and firmly established in them the principle of righteousness, for they were indeed better entitled to it and more worthy of it. God has full knowledge of all things. God has in all truth shown His messenger a true vision in which He said, God willing, you will most certainly enter the sacred mosque in safety and without fear, shaven-headed or with hair cut short. God knew what you did not, and has given you a victory beforehand. He is the one who has sent His messenger with guidance and the true religion, so that He may have it prevail over all other religions. God suffices as a witness. Muhammad is the messenger of God. Those who are with him are firm and unyielding toward those who deny the truth, but compassionate towards one another. You see them bowing and prostrating themselves, seeking the grace of God and His goodwill. Their marks are on their faces, the traces of their prostrations. They are described in the Torah and in the Gospel as being like a seed, which sends forth its shoot, then makes it strong. It then becomes thick, and it stands firm on its own stem, delighting the sowers. He seeks to enrage the disbelievers through them. God has promised forgiveness and a great reward to those of them who believe and do good works.